So again, welcome to lecture energy scenario. Last time we were discussing about we have discussed some highlights of the last lecture is the salient feature of electricity at 2003 and energy security. So we were discussing that energy security. What is that energy security? The basic aim of energy security for the nation is to reduce its dependency on the imported energy source and growth of its economy. So uh, India will continue to experience some energy supply shortfall throughout the forecast our methods. So every time we are having some small shortfall between the demand and generation, and the gap, if the gap is gone increasing, definitely we have to purchase the energy or we have to import the energy from the other sources, it may be from other countries. Like for example, if our petrol and diesel demand is gone increasing, that has to be fulfilled either by importing the importing the crude oil from the Middle East countries, isn't it? So the energy security deals that for any nation, the whatever the generation, whatever the energy demanded from the different sector of the consumer has to be fulfilled in the country itself. So if it is not fulfilled, definitely we have to import the some oil, it may be a coal or it may be a energy from the different companies. And what are the methods to obtain the energy security is the building stock pillars, diversification of energy supply source, increase the capacity of fuel switchings, demand restraints, development of renewable energy sources, and energy efficiency and sustainable development. So stock pillars and all these things we have discussed. Now, in view of this energy security, the single point, our single point operation, if we consider that it is nothing but the energy conservation. So if you do the energy conservation in the country, definitely whatever the points which we have listed over here, it can be fulfilled. It may be a partial fulfill or it may be a strongly fulfill with the help of a energy conservation program if you conduct at each and every level, right from the domestic to the industrial and say government sectors and non-government sectors are there. So what is the advantage? The advantage of energy conservation is that it will bring down the gap or it will bridge the gap between generation and demand. Nowadays, our demand is continuously increasing, but at the same rate, we cannot increase the generating capacity. It because of the environmental issues, because of the natural resources, it may be because of the funds available. But to do the energy conservation, it does not need much more, funds, and only from the existing infrastructure or from mouth to mouth campaign we can increase, we can go for the energy conservation which will bring down the gap between generation and demand. So for this one there is some energy strategies for the futures. What is that futures, what we can do to obtain the energy securities? The strategies for the future could be classified into the immediate terms, it may be a medium terms and long term strategies. So what is that immediate which can be done very effectively and without say much more investment is the rationalizing the tariff structure for the energy product, because there is a different there should be a different tariff for the different type of the consumers. It is different for the agriculture sector, it is different for the industrial sector and commercial sectors are there, which is there. We are obtaining this one, even though we can again some make some classification in the tariff to obtain the win-win situation between the society and the utility. Optimizing optimum utilization of existing assets, whatever the electrical installations are there presently, if you use very effectively, definitely we can bring down the tariff, bring down the gap between generation and demand. Say for example, there are different power plants are there, thermal power plant, hydropower plants, and some of the new hydropower plants, thermal plants are there, which having the energy generation cost is smaller as compared to the existing, or it may be old power plants are there. So in case of this optimal load schedulings or load dispatch center, it is they are going to decide which type of plant, which type of from where we have to purchase the electrical energy. So it is the optimal utilization of existing assets are there. Second is the efficiency in production system and reduction in the distribution losses, including those in the traditional energy sources are there. So we found that there is a continuous distribution losses are there. These distribution losses are maybe it is technical losses as well as the commercial losses are there. If you reduce that losses, definitely either it is a technical or it may be some thefts are there or commercial losses are there. So our production cost is going to reduce, or we can say that the tariff become viable for every type of consumers are there, and they are ready to pay, and whatever the earnings from the tariff or earning from this one, it can be used for proper maintenance of the power plants are there. Promotion of R&D, transfer and use of the technologies and the practices for the environmental sound energy systems, including the new and renewable energy sources are there. So there should be a need of the say research and development, and for the technical technologies transfer, it may be imported from other, or it may be transfer from industry institute instructions are there, which will bring down the losses in the system, and we can promote better benefits to the society as well as the utilities. Now, medium terms is that the demand management through the greater conservation of energy. So, the demand management is nothing but the whatever our load curve is there. The load curve which we already learn in the other subjects are there. It is the graph which is plotted between the demand or and time period. It may be a monthly load curve, daily load curve, yearly load curve, and we found that the load curve is not say straight line, or it is not a say somewhat rectangular. In sometimes the load is very high, and some of the greater period the load is very small, and because of that the load factor is very small. Our objective is to make the load factor as higher, it is near to the unity, and it can be made only when our load curve is as flat as possible, or it is in the shape as a rectangular ideally, but it is not a rectangular one. So if you do the demand side management practices in each and every type of consumers and utility, definitely we can bring down the maximum demand occurrence period as well as the amount of maximum demand. And this smaller the maximum demand, the cost of generation, the relative cost of the generation will be smaller. So your max, if your load curve load factor is small, the generation cost will be more, and if your load factor is toward the unity, the cost of generation per unit cost is a very it goes to the smaller value, because it is spread in the whatever the cost of production is going to spread over the number of unit generated by the generating station. So the in the medium term strategies is that we have to adopt the demand side management in each and every sector, and this demand side management can be done with the help of our tariff, because the tariff play a very important role in the demand side management. So optimal fuel mix structure changes in the economy, and appropriate model mix in the transport sectors are there, greater dependency on the rails, road and movement of the goods, passenger, shift away from the private mode to the public mode. So it is many times it is you have heard that if you use the public transport system, definitely we can reduce the consumption of petrol, diesels, and emission of the some different gases are there. So because it is a trend that some everybody is using their own private vehicles are there. It may be a two-wheeler and four-wheeler. If you if we start our lifestyle to use the public mode of transportation, definitely it will bring down the consumption of the petrol and diesel, and definitely it is reflected in the import from the different countries. There is a need to shift less energy intensive mode of transport. So if we are making some transport vehicle of the different energy less energy consumptions are there, it may be shifted to the battery vehicles are there, or electric vehicles are there instead of the petrol and diesel, because we are going to import this one. And this would definitely improve our transmission transport facilities and infrastructures. It can be reduces, our consumption can be reduces by proper infrastructure facilities, design of vehicle, design of say roads, and better quality of the roads are there. Again, it is going to reduce the consumption in the diesel and petrol. Next is that there is a need to move away from the non-renewable energy to the renewable energy source like a solar, wind, biomass, and energy. This one. So definitely our maximum generation is from the coal power plant, that is the hydrothermal power plants are there. And if you shift our energy production from the solar or wind, definitely we can reduce the import of coal from the other countries, and we can increase the energy security in the countries. Long term, which needs some more time, that is the efficient generation of energy sources, resources are there. It is the efficient production of coal, oils and natural gases, reduction of the natural gas flaring are there. Improving the energy infrastructure, that is the building of the new refineries are there. Our old refineries, old power plants and old systems are very, it is not efficient, because during that time the motors, the pumps are, they are not efficient, and more of the energy is going to utilize in the auxiliaries. Different auxiliaries in the hydrothermal power plants are there. But because of the new plant, when we are going to build the new power plants are there, or new refineries are there, definitely their cooling towers and then auxiliaries are efficient, and hence we found that the overall efficiency of the thermal power plant is higher as compared to the our old power plant. So this is some long term planning, is that whenever we are building a new power plants or refineries, the auxiliaries efficiency should be considered very carefully to increase the production level. Creation of urban gas transmission and distribution network, maximize the efficiency of rail transports of coal production is there. Building new coal and gas fired power stations are there. So this is the improving the energy infrastructure, whatever the different type of energy infrastructure are there. Enhancing energy efficiencies, improving the energy efficiency in accordance with the national social, economical and environmental priorities. Whatever our when we are increasing the efficiency, or when we are installing the new power plant, we have to consider very carefully, or at a higher priority, is that the environmental issues, social, economical issues are there. Promoting of energy efficiency and emission standard, whatever the uh, energy efficiency machines are there, which is we are going to learn the BEE, Bureau of Energy Efficiency are there. If there is a labelings are there, if some 5-star ratings motor pumps are there, we have to promote these type of energy efficient machineries in the system. Either it may be a transportation facilities, and maybe the generation facilities are there. If you are using the energy efficient equipment in each sector, right from the domestic for the refrigerator, washing machine, ACs and all are there, definitely we can enhance the energy efficiency of the system. Labeling programs for the product and adoption of energy efficient technology in large industries. So the same things which we have explained, that is labeling should be provided for the each and every electrical and say thermal gadgets are there. If the labelings are there, it may be a 3-star rating, 4-star or 5 ratings are there, 5-star ratings are there. It indicate that the consumption is small and it will give the same output which is earlier the machines are giving. Or we can say that the energy consumption for the new electrical gadgets are smaller when the uh, when it is labeled by the BEE, Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Deregulation and privatization of energy sectors. Already we have found that earlier Maharashtra has only one electricity board, is the Maharashtra State Electricity Board. It is deregulated into the three subsectors. One is the generation, second is the transmission, and third is the distribution one. Because of this deregulation, in each and every sector, the efficiency, or say a new methodology for the decreasing the losses can be adopted very easily. So this deregulation and privatization of energy sector improve the present scenario of the in the system. So reducing the cross subsidies on the oil product and electricity tariff, decontrolling the coal price and making natural gas price competitive, privatization of oil, coal and power sectors for the improving that efficiency. So these are the some long-term strategies for the improving the energy securities are there. Now, uh, we will see the energy conservation in India, because it found that to do the energy securities, or whatever the um, uh, methods are there, the very effective method, a very effective tool is the energy conservation. So because of this energy conservation, whatever the points listed in the energy security, it can be benefited, it can be we can get this benefit of this energy conservation in each and every points. So Energy Conservation Act has been formed. The considering the vast potential of energy saving and benefit of the energy efficiency, the Government of India formed an Energy Conservation Act, passed the Energy Conservation Act 2001. The Act provides for the legal framework, institutional arrangement, and the regulatory mechanism at the central and state level to embark up the energy efficiency drives in the countries. So there is a one Energy Conservation Act is there, and because of this Energy Conservation Act, there is a some legal framework. There may be institutions has been set up, and the regulatory mechanisms are there at the central and as well as the state governments are there. So because of this one, definitely it will help in the above 3 points, that is the energy strategies for the futures, whatever in future we want energy conservation to reduce the gap between generation and demand. Because our consumption is gone increasing, everything is going to occur, is going to utilize with the help of some electrical energy. So the demand of electrical energy day by day is increasing, and whereas our generation will remain as it is. So to delay the new power plant, because the power plant needed natural resources as well as the large amount of financial position over there. So the best way is to reduce the our energy consumption, reduce our losses, then effective utilization of existing infrastructure. These are the points has to be considered in the energy conservation. So, Energy Conservation Act, what is the salient feature? The salient feature of this Energy Conservation Act is like that. It's empower the union government and some of the instance, the state governments too. So it will empower, it has some power, power the government and state government, so that they can make mandatory or it is compulsory for the energy conservation program in some identified industries or some identified class of consumers are there. Notify the energy intensive industries establishment and commercial building as designated as a as a designated consumer. So designated consumer means they are classified, some of the consumers are there, they have to do energy conservation, they have to do some energy audit every year, and this is called as a designated consumers. In the say industries also, some commercial buildings are there, they has to do some energy conservation program every year, like finance audit, there should be some energy audit. Prescribe energy consumption norms and standards for the designated consumer. So in this salient feature of the energy conservation act is that they have prescribed some norms, some rules and regulations, some standards are there, which for the designated consumer. For some of the consumer is that your electricity bill should be this much, it should be a per capita consumption, isn't it? Similarly, if there is a water consumption is there, what should be the water consumption per capita per person is there, energy consumption per capita is there. So if you make some norms, if you make some rules and regulation, then and then it is possible to do the energy conservation in the country. Direct designated consumer to appoint certified energy manager for efficient use of energy. So if you visit a big industry, you will find that there is some safety managers is there. So he or she has to look after all the safety norms, all safety practices are there, isn't it? The workers, any type of worker, those are working inside the premises of the industry, they have to follow the safety norms. When they are climbing over 10 feet or 5 feet, they should wear safety belt, they should wear safety goggles and helmets, and safety shoes are there. So this is the duty of safety manager. It is appointed in the industry. Similarly, in some of the designated consumers are there, uh, government or central government or state government has made compulsory to appoint an energy manager or certified energy manager for the efficient use of energy. He the his or her duty is to continuously observe the energy consumption very judiciously. So the conservation is not switching off the supply. Energy conservation is the judicious use of electrical energy without compromising the quantity, quality, and comfort level. So switching off the supply is a saving, it is not a saving. Saving is such a way that it should not hamper the quantity of material those are producing in the industry, quality of the material, and comfort level of the people those are working over there. So therefore, it is necessary or it is make mandatory to appoint a certified energy manager in the factory also. State government to amend the energy conservation building code to suit regional and local climate conditions. So whatever the norms are made for the construction of the new buildings in such a way that as per the climate condition, as per the say different geographical condition, the building should be such that it will require less amount of electrical energy. Say it is properly ventilated, is properly windows such a way that in the daytime the maximum daylight can be utilized, isn't it? No necessary to switch on the light in the daytime. Maximum airflow is there, so which will reduce the consumption of electric bills. Direct owner of the commercial building to comply with the energy conservation building codes. So whatever the commercial buildings are there, they have to comply, they have to give the compliance of energy conservation code, which is made for the energy green or say energy efficient buildings are there. So direct mandatory display of label on the notified equipment and appliances. So it is make necessary that all the equipment which consumes a large amount of energy like AC, refrigerators, pumps, it should be labeled, is properly labeled. Either it is a 2-star rating, 3-star ratings are there, and if there is a no labelings are there, it should not be used in the industries, isn't it? And it can be done by the market transformation. So we'll see what do you mean by market transformation. The meaning is that uh, all the non-labeled equipment should not be sell into the market. So when in the market all the labeled equipments are there, definitely it converts, the existing system is going to convert into the energy efficient machineries are there. Specify the energy consumption standards for the notified equipment and appliances. So there is a uh, reference line is there for the energy consumption. Specific energy consumptions are there. For example, if it is a pump, so what is the specific consumption? So per unit kilowatt, how much is the energy, or how much is the water is going to pump out at different particular height is there. So there should be some proper specific energy consumption norms are there for every type of electrical gadget. It may be a AC, it may be a pumps, it may be a refrigeration, heating, cooling, HVAC system, or it may be a lighting systems are there. So if we made some specific energy consumption standard for the electrical appliances, definitely in the market only energy efficient equipments are available, and the people are going to purchase only electrical energy efficient, and hence our system become a energy efficient system. Provided manufacturing, sale, purchase and import of the notified equipment and appliances not conforming to the standard. The same thing which we have explained. If we do the restriction of manufacturing non-branded one, that is, say for example, if the somebody is manufacturing the light, but light does not have any standard labelings which is awarded by the BEE, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, it should not be sell into the market. There is a ban to sell the non-branded, non-labeled materials are there. Every electrical gadgets, it may be a light, pump, motor, refrigerator, ACs are there, it should be labeled. And who is going to award the label is the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, because in this Conservation Act, a bureau has been established, a government has made one department, and under this bureau, the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, they are providing the energy efficiency norms for the different electrical as well as the mechanical gadgets. So if we restrict manufacturing of such non-efficient machineries and sale of non-efficient machineries in the market, this become a market transformation, and by market transformation, definitely we can go for the energy efficient equipment everywhere from the agriculture, domestic agriculture and industrial sector. So under the provision of Act, this is 2001 Energy Conservation Act, a bureau has been formed. The name is a Bureau of Energy Efficiency, BEE, and was established with effect from 1st February 2002. So when we are going to, whenever you visit any market, when you visit the market to purchase the refrigerator, AC and all these things, you will find some logo of the BEE, Bureau of Energy Efficiency. And it is marked as a 1-star rating, 2-star rating and 3-star, 5-star ratings are there. And if you compare the cost of the equipment or cost of the, say, any electrical gadget, you will find that even the capacity is same, the manufacturer's name is same, but 5-star machine is costlier as compared to the 3-star machine is there. And the reason is that because of the higher star mark rating is there, it will consume less energy as compared to the 3-star rating. And definitely the initial cost of such equipment, such electrical gadget is higher, but due time it will give the advantage of energy conservation or energy saving throughout its life. Now, potential for the energy conservation. Where is the energy conservation is we can obtain the energy conservation. So this is the some sectors are there, and there is some potential in percentage. Industrial sector, transport sector, agriculture sector, and domestic and commercial sectors are there. So in industrial sector, there's a 25%, it is the expected saving or expected energy conservation we can do up to the 25%. Whatever the consumptions are there, we can reduce it by the 25%. In the transportation, we can reduce by 20%. In agriculture sector, it is a very much there is a large scope in agriculture sector, because in agriculture sector the people are not bothered about the efficiency of the pump and efficiency, the way of laying the pipelines are there. Because of a long pipeline, or it may be number of bends in the pipeline, the pump efficiency get decreases, and there is a large scope to do the energy conservation in agriculture sectors. And similarly, domestic and commercial, it is a 20%. People are aware in the cities how to reduce the electric bill by ethical way. So they are using the energy efficient lamps are there, energy efficient, say, refrigerators and ACs are there. But whereas it is quite difficult to replace existing machine by the new machine in the industry and transport as well as the agriculture sector. So we find there is a large scope of energy conservation in these three sectors. Now, if you think about the type of industries are there, say the type of industries iron and steel, because it is a energy, it consumes large amount of energy as compared to the other type of industries are there. Fertilizer industries and textile industries, it consumes large amount of industry in heating, cooling, as well as in the different furnaces are there, different ovens are there in this case. So in iron and steel sector, there's a 10% saving still are there. There's a scope of energy saving are there. In the fertilizer, it is a 15%, and whereas in the textile, it is a 25%. Because in textile industry, we will find there is a large amount of waste matter, waste material is there. So it may be due to the due to this one, there is a some part of effluent treatment plants are there, and hence we found there is a large scope to do the energy conservation. Okay.